and you could hear all the dogs barking in this shed. This is where they lived. They had 130 dogs in there, approximately. Beagles, because you could hear them, all the beagles. So this place was super sad for me to visit. Then
Live inside there.
this,
That's where they keep them.
yeah, I mean, there's not a window, right? Not even a window.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's horrible. And this place was a contract research organization. So like companies would like hire them to do their drug testing, toxicology research here, or whatever they did here. They might have done other things with them too, but this was the place I was telling you about. We couldn't find an address for, but PETA helped us get an address for this place, and there were 440 dogs in this building somewhere, and half of those were used in painful, distressing procedures. So I'm trying to see if I have another. So what we do is we don't announce that we're coming to anybody, not Facebook, nobody. We just show up to these places, and we make sure we're on public property because our First Amendment. I feel like everybody should know this. If the First Amendment here in the United States is pretty powerful, in that if you're on public property, you're allowed to take photo and video of buildings and things, even if it's private, as long as your feet are on public property. And so this road here is a cul-de-sac in an industrial complex, and that road is a public road. And as long as you're not disrupting traffic, which there was no traffic, we never even saw another car, you can be there and you can take videos. That's your right. And so that's what we do. And so that's us preparing to do the live video and deliver the petition. And that is where you see the name Inotive,
Yeah.
which was the parent.
Notorious.
And they did not. Yeah. And so the first place I showed you, that yellow building, they opened the door for me, and I told them who we were, and I handed the petition to them. They weren't happy, but they took it. These guys had the door locked, and they peeked around the corner to see who I was when I rang the doorbell, because there's a doorbell out there, and they literally ran the other direction. So they never opened the door for me, and I just left it at the front door for them.
So
Because
you get in a mixed reception. In some places they've been okay, welcome, well, not welcoming you, but accepting you there, and in some other places closed doors.
yeah, and this place specifically, it doesn't surprise me. If you follow any of the stories with the beagles in a notive, at a notive, then they don't really care what the public has to say at all. It's all about the profit or their business. Doesn't matter what anybody has to say. So I guess that didn't surprise me. They didn't
This
open the door.
company is doing quite badly financially at the moment in America, isn't it? I have been told their share prices are really crashing down.
Exactly. You're right. And I'm not a financial person. I can't give you those
No.
figures, but yes, you are correct from what I've read too. Yeah. So that's that place. This was just another photo of, we're in Louisiana right now, and this is where they, to best of my knowledge, did the dog research at Louisiana State University. So they have their their division of laboratory animal medicine, they call it, in this building. And in this building of veterinary medicine, they have two major centers of human disease, which I have to repeat that to myself because it didn't make sense. They have two centers, one center for lung biology and disease for humans, and two, a center for preclinical cancer research for humans in the veterinary medicine building. So yeah, that was that. And we did get to go right in those doors, and I delivered our petition to a doctor who was walking by. So that was that.
Guys,
So far,
that's pretty impressive what you just told us, because we often hear said as a simple sentence that you people can understand is like, you do not take your children to the vet, so why you rely on this medicine to be on animals? But actually, it looks like, yeah, they are using the vets to produce human medicine. This is nonsense.
yeah, this school still very, very, very big believers of animal testing. So their website specifically says the use of laboratory animals is a fundamental necessity of continued progress in the biomedical sciences. And they basically say it's their privilege to use animals for this purpose. So,
Ellie, are you aware
yeah.
of the project here? Recently, we did a lot of hard work to get the parliamentary debate, and rather than what they normally do is read out a pre-written statement, and there's nothing wrong, there's nothing to worry about, this is perfectly regulated. This year they actually made some concessions, and they said they were going to double the budget of the 3Rs research department. They're going to double the budget, methods, which sounds good, and it's going to go for non-animal methods, so it's going to go from 10 million to 20 million. It sounds good, but when you think of the entire research budget that the government has got, it's 0.01% sort of thing, But do you know what they've been doing? They've been ploughing millions of pounds into a global project to create a virtual dog. Now, that would be a great idea for the veterinary department, but again, it's the industry, but because they won't hold their hands up and say, we wasted everyone's time for 70 years. Their rationale is exactly that they want a virtual dog because they've got 70 years of data that they can then compare it against. And it's like, when are you going to get it? A virtual human for human medicine, surely to God, would be the first step. Why go through the dog when you? It's because they won't accept. When the system won't accept that they've done something wrong, they can't use that language, can they?
Right. Yeah, so this is me there. I gave them my card in case they had any dogs that they were going to euthanize that day. I said we could take them. I never heard back, but and then we also go visit the governor of each state and just give them the petition, let them know what's happening in their state, asking them to, please do something about that. Invest in non-animal technologies. So this is the Capitol building of Louisiana. And so far, I've been able to just, without an appointment, just walk into the governor's office and hand our petition to the secretary. So, in the beginning, I thought there'd be a lot of security barriers for me to give our petition to people. And we just started this tour, and there may be down the road, but so far, I just walk up to these places and, that one place the door was locked. But other than that, I've been able to hand our petition over. So that's the capital of Louisiana. And this is Cedric, my beagle, because he always comes for that. He's such a good boy. And then
He's
this
so
was
cute.
just earlier this week. We met with a senator here in the US for Louisiana that is very big on modernizing the FDA's rules that you do not need to test on animals for new drugs. And so he's very much an animal welfare advocate. So we met with his office, and this is so
Ellie,
that was really,
I
really
really
cool.
admire, I'm gonna interject. I really admire this
Yeah.
kind of a political angle that you have added, because I share the sentiment that we kind of grassroots, we just a small group of citizens trying to make a difference. We often are doing things directly with the dogs or the industry, but it's very important that we continue to engage with politicians as well and not shy away from it just because we're a small grassroots, I'm only a citizen, but actually realize that we have got, even with just a citizen, we have got more power than we realize we have got, especially when we come together as a big group.
You know, it's true. It's like my professional life before this prepared me to be persistent. So I made my first phone call to the senator's office was not answered. So then I called again and I left another message and then I left an email and I just didn't give up on it until they got back to me. And I feel like that's really important to get people's attention, is that you just don't quit if you write a letter and you don't hear back, or you make a phone call and nobody calls you back. Maybe try again, you know. That's that's it.
I agree.
So,
That's another very important rule to have in this game. We did not get an answer to our first petition,
yeah.
so we continue with the second one. Second one got better answer, but we will continue to face politicians. We can't give up.
Well, if anybody understands persistence, it's Camp Beagle. I mean, you guys been there for what, 2.5 years
That's
on
right.
the
Yeah.
side of the road? I mean, that's persistence. That's incredible. So, let's see. I don't know. So I think this is the last picture. Yeah. This just our route, our general route for our tour. So we're down here in Louisiana right now, and then we're going to be, there's not much in the southern United States, honestly. Mississippi, Alabama. There's something in Alabama, I can't tell you guys, but there's a couple things in Alabama, Georgia, and then things are going to start to really speed up in terms of our deliveries. It's going to start getting busy from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all the way through New England. And believe it or not, our most busy schedule is going to be in this area around the Great Lakes, which is Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin. For some reason, all the testing facilities are just like, so many of them are congregated in those states. So we're going to be so busy there. I mean, I have to, that's the thing, is I have to find out where we're going to sleep every night. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to find a campsite that's kind of near these places so we're not wasting fuel, because sometimes we just stay for one night. Sometimes we stay for a week if we can be in the middle, you know, if everything's like within an hour drive, we could stay a place longer. But just trying to find a place to park every night has it's challenging, and it's almost a full-time job for me. I do it. And I don't want to sleep in Walmart parking lots, because if I don't have to, if I had to, we've done it before. We've slept at a truck stop, which was awful, because at um 3 o'clock in the morning, all the trucks keep their truck engines on. I don't know if they have truck stops in the US, in the UK. I don't know if they have that.
We do
So they
have.
all keep their engines running. And so our carbon monoxide alarm went off at 3 in the morning, and we
Gosh.
had to leave because we didn't want to get poisoned in there. So yeah, so now
Well,
I have it more together where we have places to stay.
yeah, but you know, it's important you highlight these issues because the same happen in camp. You know, you're trying to do campaign and raising awareness about the beagles, but sometimes actually it takes priority sorting out water for camp, getting the electrics ready, and all those daily tasks that have to carry on as well as all the campaigning.
Oh yeah, like the first couple of weeks, our toilet overflowed. We didn't understand the tanks that, you take, this sounds gross, but you take advantage of the fact of having a bathroom in a house and a plumbing and a sewer system, right? So our toilet overflowed, and we didn't realize it went under our laminate flooring,
Oh,
and we had to tear. We were at a Home Depot, and my husband had to tear the whole floor out.
ooh.
This happened a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
So
sorry.
stuff like that. We had to replace the whole floor. But now we know that we're getting better at this as we go.
Yeah. I reckon by the time you get into Washington, you'll be sorted.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, you
But
want to talk?
we
You
have
want to? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no go ahead.
No, you go ahead first.
No, I just wanted to say we actually have some people who have adopted beagles from laboratories or Envigo. We have a lot of Envigo adopters who support our tour, who've invited us to stay at their house or have invited us to park in their driveway, or given us names of campsites and offered us all kinds of help, which is quite amazing because I feel like these people were strangers, all of a sudden were like brought together, and I feel like they're my friends,
Yeah, I never
even though I've
really
never
thought it
personally
that
met
way,
them.
but I'm finding there is so many similarities between you. Even it's quite different. You're on the move, you're doing a tour with a camp, we're permanent here. But again, I can see many threads that are parallels. We got the same, you know, we got
Yeah.
amazing support here, which we would not be able to be here for that network of people that support once a month, twice a week, each one where they can, and you get to meet people that, yeah, they become a bit more than friends.
And we have to, yeah, we've got the same sort of thing of like, I mean, they spent £3 million to try and get rid of us. Marshall spent £3 million in legal fees to try and evict us, you know? And yeah, we have to sort of be, like your boss, we have to keep the camps, like I said, ship shape, and we have to keep it all legal as well, because we're all under cameras and scrutiny. They would love Camp Beagle to become this sort of den of criminal behavior. We'd get shut down tomorrow, you know?
Right.
I thought of an idea for your toilet problem before. Couldn't you just leave an offering each laboratory you go to, or each animal abuse establishment?
Wow. Okay. I never thought about that. That's good.
John is full of good ideas.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted also to, if you're happy to move away from talking about your tour, I'm also interested for you to talk to us a little bit about your podcast project, because I think they're really good little project that you got on the side also.
Yeah. I love to talk to people who are in this. I guess I'll call it a fight. It's probably not the right word. In this cause with us. Um, and look at it from every angle. And so I call us kind of like an independent organization because I want to talk to everybody. I'm not taking anybody's like side in terms of what organization you're doing. I love that. I love everything everybody's doing to help the dogs and research. So I'll interview rescuers. The latest podcasts were the three activists who rescued three beagles out of Ridgeland Farms. And that was,
I did share
those are
your,
amazing.
I shared that podcast on
Yeah.
our social media yesterday.
Yeah, so they're up in Wisconsin, so we're definitely going to be going there on our tour. But you know, those are three very brave people, and their stories are quite incredible. And people love stories, and I love hearing stories myself. I love people telling their stories. Stories are very powerful. You know, you can rattle off numbers all day long. You won't remember the numbers maybe, but you will remember a story. So I love sharing people's stories through the podcast. We do one every month, one podcast every month.
Yeah, I totally agree
And right
also
now
with your
yeah,
concept of trying to portray as many different views on the same topic, because there is no one
right.
answer of how to tackle this. If there was one answer, we have found it already. The answer is each one tackling this issue from whichever skills they got, whatever time they can afford, whatever commitments they can give.
Yeah.
But your podcasts are all very much around the using dogs in research, isn't it? That is the key topic that goes
It's
through
the
all
key,
the
yes, it's the key
podcasts.
topic. It does. And sometimes we do bring up other animals, but the focus is always dogs because they're a companion species. And in the United States, there are a few bills right now focusing specifically on companion species, why they shouldn't be used for research. And that's the focus of my podcast also is, you know, dogs, it's just time to end it. You
Yeah.
know, it's just, I don't know what else to say. It's just unnecessary. It's time to end it. And so whatever I can do through, you know, podcasting is cool because it's like freedom of speech. You can like not like the media hasn't really been interested in covering anything so very much about this tour. But in podcasting, it's almost like it's freedom of speech and you can just whatever your views are, you can just put it out there or other people's views are.
We don't get
And no
any,
one's going to censor that.
we don't get any mainstream media at all, you could say. You might as well say that. Why bother to say no? We've had one or two pieces. We get none whatsoever. Animal Rising, uh, they do a lot of different types of campaigns, and they were astonished that when they came here and they rescued the 5 puppies and then the 20, which became 18 puppies from a laboratory, from a factory. It's like tabloid heaven, you'd think. You know, the Robin Hoods, they didn't get one single line. They're used to getting a lot of publicity for every action they do. But when it came to this area, the mainstream media didn't touch it with a barge pole. And from what you were just talking about again about the dogs, for me, what I've found, and it's like, I mean, it's true for me. The reason that broke my heart about other animals and to see the animals of my brothers and sisters was a dog dying on my arms. And dogs are often like the ambassadors to sort of break your heart really into what we're doing to all the other animals. So to me, it's not. I don't like that word. I don't like it. And I used to laugh at it when it was first come up. The species this. I don't see it as species this. We're outside the dog factories in particular. What else are we going to concentrate about the dogs? But it's got many factors to it. If there's an iconic image of the animal liberation movement, traditionally it's of a masked person running away with a dog in their arms. And for me, we can use the dogs to me are like the ambassadors, because the science and the cruelty is as bad for the mice as it is for the dogs. It's insane. It's insane. You know? So yeah, just want to say that.
Yeah, and I have to focus on what I understand, and I do understand the beagles, the dogs coming from research, or I understand that the non-human primates breaks my heart, honestly, just as much, but I'm not an expert in primates. It's not my area. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to take that on at all. So.
So I'm gonna open the floor to see if anybody's got any questions. You can write the questions on the chat room, or you can just unmute yourself and see if you got any specific questions for Ellie.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Wendy.
Oh, right.
Go on, Wendy. Wendy,
Oh, we can hear it.
unmute yourself.
She's on mute. No, we can hear you.
Maybe other people. You wanna?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
hi, it's Louise.
Hi, Louise.
Is it Ellie? Hi,
Yes.
darling. Ellie,
Yes.
when you say about a petition, when you hand in a petition to the research places, is that in a kind of letter form? Or is it an actual petition? Because our petitions here are quite can be quite long with signatures. How does your petition look when you're handing it in?
I make a copy of that. So if you go on our website and sign the petition, you'll see a letter to the research institution. So I print that out, and then I put all the signatures. So every time I get like 100 extra signatures, because it's always growing, the petition's always getting bigger as we're traveling. And so I always have to find a copy center that will make copies with the additional signature. So we started out with, like, I don't know, maybe 5,000 signatures we started out with, and now we're at 7,000, almost 700, almost 8,000 signatures.
Right.
It's an Excel form.
So if I have, for example,
just,
I have signed the petition, Ellie, does it mean I don't have to sign it every time you go to a different research unit? I don't need to sign it. I've signed one for all the research institutes.
Yep.
Okay.
I just reprint. Yeah, everyone who signed it before, you're still there. It's just the new people get added.
And it's on the Dog Research Expose podcast website, or which website is it on, Ellie?
Yeah, dogresearchexposed.com, and then you just click on Take Action, and that's where you sign it.
And somebody's asking, can the people in the UK sign it? But yes, you can, because I have signed it.
Yeah, you just put, instead of your state, you put your country where it says state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have people from all over the world literally signed, which I love. This is a global issue, so.
And I got another question. How long do you think it's gonna take you to do this tour? Do you have a time frame?
Yeah, we plan to be probably done by the end of October. And then if it was successful and we still have the funds, to get to these places, in 2025, we're gonna hit the West Coast. because there's a lot of research institutions in the West Coast and also the middle part of the country that we're missing. So
Because the animal welfare standards of this dog factory and behind are disgusting and deplorable. But we hear that from America, it can get even, it's got an even lower potential standard. Like we've got information that the NBR dogs live on a wire floor, which is another level of cruelty. They live on a wire floor with slats in it so they can have sand underneath. But I'm saying, are you going to go to Marshall's? Is that part of the tour?
it is. I don't have a date yet, and I'm not sure what exactly we're going to be doing, but I am going to be hopefully planning something with the local animal rights group that lives there.
Yeah.
So they know the place. They know the streets, they know the laws, they know
Yeah.
I think there
all
is
that stuff. So I don't have any.
there's a history of strong intimidation, I think, in that whole area. I think marshals are extremely powerful. You know, they're sort of sheriff type of, I'm boss of this area. And I think they use the private security as the police. And there is a history there of them being quite rednecky and like, not here you don't sort of thing, you know. So good luck, because it'd be great for things to start to happen there, because that's the grotesque. Like people are shocked at the scale of NBR acres where we are. Shocked when we tell them it's up to 2,000 dogs. America, New York, 20,000 dogs. And you know what? They do the
So
same.
part of
Weekend, they do the same weekend rota as here. You know, they have a weekend bloody rota for those 20,000 dogs. There's no one in with the dogs here now. And the same thing with marshals,
right.
cost cutting, penny pinching, exercise at every opportunity. They're disgusting company. So good luck.
Well, we're just going to use I can't tell you exactly what we're going to do because I still don't know. I have to talk to a lot of people, but we're definitely going to go there. And whatever happens, it's going to be on a video. So it's going to be a story one way or the other.
Yeah, somebody here is
That's that.
asking how can they follow you around the store? They would love to know what's happening. So just follow Dog Research Exposed podcast on Facebook or Instagram. And Ellie does regularly put posts up of what's going on.
Yeah, the Facebook address that's always the most up to date is facebook.com/Stop Dog Research Podcast. Stop Dog Research Podcast is the address, but it's just called Dog Research Exposed Podcast if you're searching for it.
And before you go anywhere, we were talking before the Zoom started about how naughty your dog is. I want to hear. You said you like stories. I want to hear naughty stories about your dog, please.
Well,
Cedric.
Cedric, yeah, he's taking a nap now. Otherwise, I'd bring him over here.
We don't believe he's naughty.
So cute. Oh yeah. His nickname was the Barracuda because he will steal the food right off your plate in a flash. Yeah. And
has he got a technique? Has he got a technique or just goes for it?
Yes. He has a head tilt. So when he wants what's on your plate, he tilts his head like that. and he knows his cuteness wins over, and it does. And there's other things that I can't think of, but yeah, does
he run off? Does he run away?
He does, if given an opportunity, but he is the most amazingly trained beagle I've ever had. So he's very food motivated and he's attached to me. And so I have a little treat belt and he comes when his name is called.
Wow.
So if he does not, he will come back to his name and a treat.
Wow.
So yeah, we're lucky. He gets
feels amazing to know there is 4,000 beagles rescued from Envigo, all living in happy homes right now.
Every one of those dogs are just the sweetest dogs because I'm part of all the Envigo groups.
And they
And,
all,
you know, I
they
don't
all
even like to
become ambassadors for the ones that have been left behind.
they have. Yep. Oh, and is this my husband, Jeremy? This is my teammate.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Couldn't do it without him because he fixes all the stuff when it breaks.
Yes. and keep you sane.
Yeah.
Well, Ellie.
Where's next stop? What's the next
Yeah,
stop?
what's next?
Where you going next?
Next stop is we're gonna kind of fly through Mississippi because there's nothing there. We're gonna be in Alabama. We're
Fabulous.
going deep South Alabama for the next one.
Wow, good luck.
Thank you.
And we will be following you. Please, everybody, follow Ellie Hansen on Facebook and keep updated with her amazing tour. And maybe we catch up at some point, maybe when you're near Marshall's. We can have another catch up.
Yes, I will love that.
Yeah. It's been an
That's a great idea.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been really enjoyable. I must say, I forgot to press the recording from the beginning, so I missed a little bit of the beginning of your presentation. But I will put the recording of what we got.
Sure, sounds good.
Hi guys, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. You do? Okay, thank you everyone for what you do. In addition to going to the research facilities, Ellie, do you also go to colleges, universities, to high schools and spread information there?
I'm not really doing public speaking type events just because the nature of our tour is I have to plan where I'm going to be, and a lot of these universities require a lot of head up notice to schedule speakers. I tried actually, and they were not interested. High schools, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're so busy with our actual finding places to like planning our route, getting to these traveling to these facilities, all the social media and stuff, that I really don't have time for public speaking at high schools. But one thing that I really, really was hoping, and what is happening, is that maybe this would inspire others to do what I can't do, what I'm unable to do. So, yeah, I can drive around the country and go to these facilities, but maybe somebody else can be like, oh, now I know in Louisiana they use 500 dogs. I'm going to go to I live in Louisiana, so I'm going to go to the local high school and I'm going to do a presentation on it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'd like to share, I taught high school English for 32 years. And the last decade, I just recently retired. It was a lot in teaching here on Long Island, New York. But I was one of the only teachers who brought animal awareness into all of my lessons. I had reporters cover what I did. And then when I taught journalism, I taught about muckrackers, people who are whistleblowers. And I showed footage that I obtained from Facebook and other places about the dogs in the laboratories. The students were not aware, they had no idea, and they were shocked and, wanted to do something. So even everybody in my school knew me as the animal advocate, and the principal, everybody. I had workshops where I had PETA come into the auditorium. And I don't know any other teacher who does this. It's shocking to me because most of the teachers have a dog, but they don't want to bring it up in the schools. So if there's anybody on this team who could put together a great PowerPoint for me, I mean, I have some, but I'm sure we could get better ones. I would go back in the schools that I've taught in, where I have students who have graduated, are principals in other schools. And, you know, I would continue to do this. I'd come in as a guest speaker because people don't even have any idea. And as we all know, when we start with the youth, which is what our society is doing now with brainwashing them with other topics, but when we start young, then the kids can really have a say, and they don't even know. A lot of adults don't even know. They don't know that you could buy cruelty-free dishwashing detergent, and half of them don't know about all these experiments going on. But anyway, I thank you all for what you do. I'm glad to have just learned about Ellie Hansen and Camp Beagle, and I'd love to know what other people here are doing. I know we all care, but that's what I did. I taught high school English, and they all walked away. They knew my dogs' names. They knew what was going on with animal testing, the circus, entertainment. And like you said, when you bring up one dog, you tell a story with a dog. So my dogs were like the ambassador, but that's just what I wanted to share.
Thank you. I mean, when we were in Fort Collins, Colorado, there was somebody who lived in the town that this research facility was in, and she didn't even know it was there. And so sometimes you just have to know. And then while I couldn't stay in Colorado to you know, to do presentations, people who live there surely can do that, like yourself, you know, talk to the schools that are there, all that stuff. I think it's a great idea.
But we could all like even urge our kids' teachers or the schools in our community and say, this is what we want. Humane education is actually mandated, at least in New York State. So humane, that was my slant. I was lucky to have autonomy. So another thing we could, like when people say, what should I do? I mean, I know everybody here is doing something. Let's start to urge them, bring this into a lesson. You know, we have a history month and a history this, and let's get this in. No, you know, Beagle Lives Matter.
I think Beagle Freedom Project, I'm not sure, I don't know how to get to it, but Beagle Freedom Project does have a, if you're familiar with them.
Well, I did contact them. Yes, I did. And a lot of their workshops were at times, and I don't want to discredit, but you know, high school students leave the building at by 1 o'clock. The seniors are out, and they close by they stop school by 2 o'clock, and their workshops were 1:30 to 2:30. So the kids weren't there. So I did contact them, and it's something that I think we could work on, getting these speakers out there and changing the time so kids are in the school.
Yep. It's a great idea.
I wanted to catch up on what you were saying, Ellie, about inspiring other people. I find so we actually were talking about it earlier today, that we see that as part of the role of Camp Beagle. We don't have to do everything. Sometimes it's just about inspiring people to what is it that you know and what you can do, even if it's just a little video or a little talk or teaching a lesson, and just inspire people for everyone to contribute in whichever way they can.
I mean, look how much Camp Beagle inspired me. I mean, honestly.
Thank you, Ellie.
Brilliant. It's really good to get feedback like that. You know, it's amazing actually. However bad it gets here, you know, and it is tough. It's a tough gig. We've got no intention of quitting. None. Really? No.
I love the accent. We should get the Rolling Stones on tour with us. That's what, you know, something big. Let's really rock this out. Let's get this rolling.
I love your accent.
Ellie's on the way, literally.
You say dog again for me, please. Dog. Do you say dog? Go on.
That's Long
Go on.
Island.
Long Island.
I can talk if
My
you guys
cousin-
like about some work that we're doing in the DC area, just to inspire. So I live 10 minutes from the Capitol building in Washington, DC. We're doing an event for legislators and Congress people in the White House office buildings next week. Actually, it's going to be on Thursday. It's an event put on by Cruelty Free International.
Wow.
And what we do is a display of actual science. We're going to have medical students there demonstrating organ on a chip alternatives directly related to animal research that's happening. So they're going to be showing how it can be done faster, cheaper, more quickly, less expensively. There's going to be a display in the foyer of the Rayburn office building. It's not a public event. So we go into the office buildings and educate legislators and try to get them sort of excited about these opportunities. And we're specifically going to be telling them about 3 acts that are coming up in Congress: the Humane and Existing Alternatives to Research and Testing Sciences, the HARTS Act, the Humane Cosmetics Act, and the Companion Animal Research for Experiments Act, which would require federally funded labs to offer the animals for adoption when they're done with their term in the lab. So these are small little steps we're doing, but I bring my beagle everywhere, and he is literally the key to people's hearts. And then there's these photo opportunities that come up. So this is like our 8th event in the DC area, and my dog is only 1 year and 7 months. So he came from Envigo. And now I'm working with rescue groups in the area, and I've coordinated 6 other beagles to come. So there's going to be lots of photos. My car is filled with stuff to bring. I'm going to set up a table. So I'm just like one person here in the DC area, but I'm trying to like get my hands into everything. So I just wanted to say I'm inspired by everybody here, and everybody's doing their work, and we got to attack it from all angles, I think. So I'm Holly.
That's fantastic, Holly. That sounds incredible work. We have really experienced that politicians, they're just human beings, and legislators, they just need educating, and often they just don't know about all these non-animal methods. They just need education. So fantastic.
And I've been doing this for 40 years. And if you're studying a movement, and rightly so, our job is to point out the literally horrors, you know, and we're not being poetic. It's horrific what goes on inside the labs, and that's why it's always been hidden. But without doubt, I haven't got one bloody shred of it out. The fast track way to get rid of animal testing, unfortunately for the human race, so we couldn't rely on the morals, but it's going to be the scientific argument all day long. And we haven't wasted our time in the past decades. There were loads of elements within the movement that really wanted to concentrate on the scientific arguments, and basically they were sidetracked really, because you know, like, where's the heart? So we've got both, haven't we? But the thing that's going to do it this time round, and it's actually going to do it, we're all pretty sure it's the science angle.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a secret mission when I'm there, which is going to be, since it's not a public event, I'm hoping to interview some of the medical students on video if I can, and ask them if it's okay to share what they have to say, because I've had these conversations with students in the medical field, and they've actually told me specifically about the research they're doing and how much better it is than animal testing. And so I want to record some of that, ask if I can share it, and then just put it out and make it public for everyone to see. So I'm trying to get some of the event that's happening that's sort of a closed event and make it a little bit open event. So if you see anything from me on that, share it.
So where do we find
me.
you? On Facebook with that name?
Yeah, Facebook, Holly Halverson.
Holly Halverson.
It'll be in all the Beagle groups. I'll share it to all the Beagle groups, and I'll send it to you specifically. Yeah, I'll make sure you see it.
It's a very good way to top the meeting off, isn't it? You're off to the White House next week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I take days off, a whole day ahead of time. I drive everywhere, I gather all the materials, and then I have to take a day off afterward because I get very emotional. Just so that you guys, I mean, we're all familiar with this feeling, right? I have to take a complete break the next day. I have to not work. I have to do yoga, walk in the sun. I have to do things that relax me because it's,
Yeah,
I leave in tears,
that's a very important
Thank you, guys.
tip. Very important tip for everybody here in this group. Please do take time for yourself, take time off, rest, because this is quite relentless and full of lots of cruelty stories. So
Like, I'm eating at the minute, Subway, that someone, beautiful man called Joe, yesterday he got pizzas delivered. Today, like these Subway sandwiches,
he lives far away from here. He lives miles away, but he orders to the local shop here and we get it delivered.
So we literally live on people's kindness, and what a good energy that is,
Okay, I'm gonna round it up. Thank you everyone for their contributions, but particularly big thank you to Ellie Hansen for accepting to be on the other side of the microphone this time and sharing all these beautiful photos and your adventures so far on this incredible tour of horror, really, but very important that you're prepared to do it.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, everyone who's been here. We'll see you soon.
Bye.